What's going on, NEM crew? Welcome back to another video. I don't know what day it is, but we're putting some things on the Datsun today. Oh yeah. I don't know, the days have all been mixed up, so everything's been mixed and mashed with the videos and the footage. So I honestly don't know what day it is. It'll be in the title, but let's just dive right in. We're gonna try and get the rear completely back together. We'll see how far we can get. Let's dive right in. Alright guys, just a quick tip if you're going to be doing the exact same conversion I'm doing, specifically with the Nissan 300ZX twin turbo, that setup. So this is the notch here that you're going to have to cut out for the diff. It's not too big. It may look that way, but it isn't that big. And if you can see in the actual hole here, it's painted in there, which is good. So I'm just gonna go in and clean everything up with some brake clean and alcohol here, and then put a couple other coats of paint and then oil spray in there so we don't have any issues with rust. But the bigger reason why I wanted to actually do this little quick tip or this little video clip here is to talk about the e-brake cables. So if you look up here, I had to make a bracket here to allow the e-brake cables to fit on the car. So it's a little bit of a weird, different setup, but it's pretty simple. It's just an L bracket that comes down, and then you just find or just put your hole for the bracket to sit in. The e-brake will sit on these studs here that were already existing for the e-brake cable that were on the car, and then you have your remaining wire that will go into the actual braking setup. So it's not too hard. I think the hardest thing was getting these wires here, these wires 1 and 2, to work with this equalizer. The way the e-brake cable works on the Datsun is it's just one continuous cable for both sides, so it just loops around here, and you're good to go. So what I ended up doing was this cable here loops all the way around to this side, and then I tucked it, drilled the slot and tucked the knob in there, and then kind of welded it so it can't come out. And then I did the exact same thing for this wire here. It wraps all the way around and then tucks in right here, and then same thing with the slot, and then welded the end. So now they're locked in place here, and then when you move the actual cable, the end of the cable, it moves. So everything works. We've tested it with the e-brake, and it works fine. So I'm hoping there's no clearance issues. This is exactly where the e-brake cable bolted up. The e-brake cable is bolted up for the factory, so I'm assuming it should fit, and I've set it up now. So these wires here, these cables here tuck up right up against the actual body, and I can even bend this bracket even more so it tucks higher. But there's a brake line that runs up here, so I think we'll be okay. Plus, we only need up until the top of this for clearance for the diff, so there's lots of room here. But I just wanted to stop what I'm doing, show you guys, little bit of behind the scenes because I didn't get too much footage. I pretty much didn't get any footage of doing this because it's been a lot of tedious work in and out of the car, underneath the car, trying to get this to fit. But that's pretty much it. We're just going to take everything out, paint it, and then everything will be good to go back in, and then we can start start putting the diff in. So it should be fun, and then just tic-tac-toe with everything else. It's pretty exciting. We're about 65 to 70% of the way done the build, so we'll just keep plugging away, but it's interesting to see how this is moving along. Alright guys, the diff is in. Wow, what a process it's been. Guys probably can't really tell with the footage, but we definitely ran into some hiccups. It took us a while. I'm going to see if I can show you some things right now that we kind of ran into, just in case you are running through the exact same thing, or you're planning to do the exact same thing on your car. So let me get under here. Let's see what I can show you. So the first thing is everything looks nice and shiny, which is nice. So this bar here actually took a while to get us to line up. It was just the tolerances I find on all these components are just so perfect that if your car is out slightly, then it won't go where you need it to go. So for some reason you'll see that there's 4 bolt holes. Maybe this side will be easier. Probably not, because there's no more light. So there's actually 4 holes, only 2 will line up. Once you get these 2 in, then there's not enough room to actually get another 2 in there. So I don't know what that's about, but one thing I wanted to show you here, if you can see right in here, I actually had to shave a little bit of the casing bolts for the diff because they were hitting this drop down mount. So there's one there and then one above that you can't really see because it's covered by the mustache bar. But just so you know, if you're going through this, I don't know if it was just because the tolerance on our car, on this car here, I have no clue why, but we had to shave that off. You guys saw that we did cut off the spots for the ABS sensors, just so there's a little bit more wiggle room under here, but it wasn't enough. We had to actually go ahead and shave the bolts. So that was a little bit of a battle. It actually took us 3 hours to get this diff in. It seems probably kind of ridiculous that it took us that long, but that was pretty much what happened. So now we're going to move on. Everything is in, everything is tight. We're gonna go and try and get everything else together. Oh, one more thing. The front portion of the diff mount, I don't know if you can see there. Probably not. Let me change my angle. So the front portion of this diff mount here, there was a little bit of a gap between the bottom of the bushing and the actual the bracket here that came with the kit. So what we ended up doing was we originally tried to bolt everything down, but it pulled the front nose of the diff like pretty far down, so that even if we tried to get a drive shaft in there, once we get one made, it would definitely be hitting the sway bar. So we ended up just putting a stack of washers on either side, making it as level as we could possibly make it just by going, just by looking at it by eye. So we did that, and everything seems to be snug and working and fit. So I don't know if that's the right way to do it. These kits don't come with instructions. It's pretty self-explanatory, so we kind of just figured it out. But that was a couple of the things that we ran into. So let's move on, and we'll see how far we can get. Just a quick note, if you're going to be going through the same process on your car, these backing plates will actually need to be trimmed a little bit. Now, these are the backing plates that came off the Nissan 300ZX. They're going to be needed to be trimmed slightly to fit the bracketry that came from Techno Toy Tuning. Just a slight little chunk needs to come off just to allow for the caliper placement, and then you'll be good to go. That's like...
Is it in all the way though?
It might be.
That's all that goes in.
Well, we got some bad news. The Datsun build is officially stopping temporarily. It's just been a battle the past couple days trying to get the footage for this one video, just because we kept running into issues with getting the diff in, getting everything together, and of course, once we move past each hurdle that we came across, it would just be something else that we ran into. And now at this point, it's something where we can't move forward for a little bit. It seems like the axles are too long and they're not letting us put everything back together in the rear. So I'm gonna have to figure out, get on the phone with Techno Toy, figure out what's going on. Maybe they sent or they machined or changed the axles when they shortened them. They didn't put them to the right length, just because of miscommunication, whatever the case may be. So the build, unfortunately, is gonna be stopping here. Hopefully we can pick it up again soon, but that might not be the case. I gotta figure out just timing, because I tried to get everything done just because I needed to, I didn't have the garage space for much longer, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but the build is stopping. It's not what you guys wanna hear, not what I wanna hear, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, it's gonna be an adventure going forward. Datsun things, this is what happens when you have a build, and it's part of the fun. So guys, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy, crew.